Hello, everybody. How's it going? Let's get this going. Just double check the sound and all that good stuff. What up, everybody? How we doing? Give me 1 sec. Just so you guys know the drill. Double checking audio, video. All. Looks good. Looks good. Cool. All right, everybody. How we doing? B. David, I see you. Jeremy, how we doing? Christopher, it is a good day. Feels nice to wake up today and not see a freaking sea of red, isn't it? Let me get everything set up here. I figured I'd just jump on stream. We already had all the videos and stuff scheduled today, but I was like, you know what? We haven't done a stream. I don't think we did one yesterday, and I told you guys I want to do a couple a week, a couple per week. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's just throw this thing on. Let's kind of do a little live stream, hang out, everybody. This one's probably not going to be super long, to be honest. Probably not going to be super long, just because we do have, I think, 7 or 8 videos going out today. So I want to make sure they have enough room to run and get, of course, hit that algo and all those good things. But I did, of course, want to just jump on stream, kind of chit chat with you guys, take you through the basics. We'll do a quick run through of what's happening in the market. We'll start off, obviously, looking at, total market cap, Bitcoin. We'll go into a few of the more specific ones, Solana, Jasmy, XRP render, all those ones. I'll give you kind of just quick fire technical analysis on those things, and then we'll kind of go from there. So of course, I know some of these streams are not going to be as long as the 1.5 hour ones or 2 hour ones that we do, but hopefully you guys do enjoy them nonetheless. So let's go ahead and talk and jump in the chat real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started in about 2 minutes or so. All right, let's see. Get the share screens ready to go. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Rebecca, how's it going? Yeah, the market might be back. I don't want to go as far to say that the market is back yet. That is going to be a lot of what we talk about here on stream today. I'm not 1,000,000% convinced that we're out of the pullback quite yet. I think there's a risk that we're in a bull trap right now. So I want to kind of explain to you guys my thoughts on that, kind of what I'm doing as a result of it. Things do look good, and I do think that there's a good size chance that we actually do see this market start pushing up again. But there are certain risks that you have to be aware of. You guys know that I go super deep down the rabbit hole of saying that there's lizard people who control these markets, but it is the truth. I do genuinely believe that, in the sense that there is manipulation. And what better thing to do if you really want to manipulate people than to let this market pull back a bit, let everyone get all freaked out, let the bears start shorting and shorting and shorting, liquidate them by a pump to the upside, let all the bulls get super excited, let them start going long, and then dump the market again and liquidate them, right? Like, those are things we see all the time. And so because of that, I just kind of wanted to, that's the one thing we'll kind of focus on a good bit today, is kind of showing you guys, okay, at what point will it actually be confirmed, that this market is actually back and that we are back in, what you would generally consider like a bull market, right? So we're going to go over through all that stuff today. But again, probably not the longest stream, maybe about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but I do want to answer some questions, hang out with you guys, chit chat a little bit. So let's do it. A few more questions. Let's see. Yeah, Jasmy is on fire. Shout out to you, Muhammad. How we doing? Got you. Absolutely. I try my best. We try to get, man, recently the game plan has been, 7, 8, 9 videos every day. I think we can maintain that schedule. I think what we're going to do is either 9 videos a day with no live stream, or 7 videos in a live stream. That's kind of the strategy. I feel like not many other channels can keep up with that pace, keeping as many different communities as updated as we are. And so I feel like that's why we've been growing so much. You guys know we were at 91,000 subscribers just a month ago. We're at 110,000 now. Hopefully, maybe we push up towards 200K over the next few months or something. That'd be great. So we're going to keep on pushing, keep you guys updated. I think More Crypto Online is the only TA YouTuber who posts more than me. I don't know what that guy has going on, but he's absolutely smashing it. So shout out to him. But outside of that, we're trying to outpost everybody, if that makes sense. So what's up, everybody? How's it going? Weekly Crypto Roundtable. What's up, man? How's it going? Shout out to those guys at the Weekly Crypto Roundtable. Make sure that you guys do go check them out. They have a pretty sweet show they do every week. I'll probably do a little feature on that pretty soon here. So feel free to go check them out. All righty. Yep, we're going to go over Caspa and all of that good stuff, my friends. Don't you worry. All righty, Garrett. Shout out to you, champ. All right. How about we get into it then, eh? Let's do it. Okay. So, and look, I do want to put out one little warning, one little preface. I do always welcome and appreciate super chats, guys. But if you do send a super chat and you're asking us to cover like a meme coin or a crypto or something like that, I can't guarantee that we're going to do it. I don't want it to become a system to where everybody just kind of donates and expect us to, kind of do coverage based on that. I just feel like it's unfair to the people who either can't donate or don't want to donate. So we'll just cover some stuff, and I hope you guys just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, just wanted to put that out there for you, just as a bit of a warning. Now, let's get into it, shall we? So let's start off with total market cap. Actually, matter of fact, I want to see what is happening here first. Let's start kind of painting this picture. So obviously, this is interesting. Okay, so what we can see here is that obviously today has been absolutely fantastic. No major leaders. I mean, Peanut is definitely doing very well, but overall, we're seeing very equally distributed, wins kind of across the market a ton right now, quite frankly. I mean, you can see it. We got Peanut up, we got Hype up, XRP and Sweet. Uni Neo, I mean, 12 to 15% tends to be the rather, typical amount of gains today, which is absolutely insane. We're definitely seeing a more altcoin favored market right now. We're talking like top 50, top 60-ish roughly. So definitely interesting to see kind of the mid, how do I explain it? They're not mid caps, but they're like small major cap cryptos that are doing extremely well. Obviously, your major ones are doing fine. SHIB is doing good. Bitcoin's actually up there right now. I saw Solana earlier, but obviously, again, more favored towards some of these other smaller ones, Hype, Beam, Flow, BGB, Sand, ADA. I'm seeing a lot of these exchange tokens really start doing well. This is BitGet's token, I believe, the BGB token. This is BitGet's token, and they're starting to see a lot of momentum as well. So definitely a pretty evenly distributed day across the altcoin market for sure. Now, zooming in a little bit more, let's kind of jump into price analysis and see what's going on here. Things are definitely starting to heat up a little bit. What we can see is obviously the total market cap of crypto absolutely nosedived a couple days ago. Kind of got smashed, right? I mean, we went down about 11.2%, and you got to think, I mean, that was $300 billion worth of, just absolute wreckage. And it's funny these days because I remember back when the total market cap of crypto was like $1 trillion, 1.2 trillion, and we would have a 10% day. And it's like, well, sure, we fell $100 billion, but that's not all that difficult. Whereas now, I mean, like, when we fall 10%, that's rough. 300 billion getting wiped is not good. 350 billion getting wiped is not good. And so big pullback there, but obviously things have started to recover a little bit. Now, this kind of does take me into my major point of the day and kind of what I wanted to talk to you all about. I did mention this over in the Discord server earlier, and what I actually decided to do, I want to read this out to you guys because although I try to keep the majority of the insights that I give the Patreon members to the Patreon members, I do feel like this is just something that everyone needs to hear. And I know the Patreon members will be okay with me sharing it with you guys. So earlier today at about 2 or 3 hours ago, I said, although today is extremely fun, I need you all to move very cautiously right now. Just because the market is doing well doesn't mean that the correction is over. ABC corrections happen all the time, and until we start seeing our midterm golden boxes broken, we are still very much so in a correction to the downside. FOMOing in now could lead to an absolute wreckage mentally and physically if you're not careful. So just please move with caution until we have more confirmations that the correction is over. Enjoy today, but be careful. I'll keep you all updated as things do start playing out. And what I meant by that was that where we are right now is great. Don't get me wrong. We've seen a lot of fantastic price movement here, but at the end of the day, we've not seen enough to say for sure that we're out of the woods. I mean, if you go look at crypto bubbles, sure, the one day is looking great, but when we look at the weekly, you have to recognize that we are still in a bearish period, right? Not a bear market, obviously, but just in a bearish period, a bearish phase, a spot in which the majority of these cryptocurrencies are all down right now. And you got to recognize that just because we have one good day doesn't change this. We are still in recovery. And when you're in recovery at any given point, you can just continue downwards. You could see this market just continuously falling. And so because of that, you just have to recognize there is still risk on the table. Now, one thing that you may be wondering that I kind of pointed out here, I said, until we start seeing our midterm golden boxes broken. And if you're new here, you're not going to know what I mean by that. So let me kind of clarify. So in the world of crypto, you can somewhat tell when a crypto is just retracing or when it's actually breaking out, depending on if it can clear what's called a Fibonacci zone. Now, without going super deep into detail, Fibonacci zones are a tool that you can use to kind of just guess where there's going to be liquidity, resistance, supports, and things like that. Now, if you draw on your Fibonacci tool from this high that was put in right around $3.63 trillion, all the way down to $3.23 trillion, you can see that it places this little golden box right here. You see this golden box right here? That's your Fibonacci zone. This is kind of the decision making zone. This is the, are we going to get rejected and absolutely sent back down the stairs, or are we going to break out and start making some progress? All of those decisions get made right here. And what you'll come to realize today is that the vast majority of your biggest and your best cryptos are all interacting with this Fibonacci zone as we speak. And what I would go to say is that you cannot be certain that what we're seeing right now is good, quite frankly, until we break the golden box. Because as I mentioned earlier, ABC corrections happen all the time. And I'm not talking about Elliott's wave theory. I'm not super brushed up on Elliott's wave theory, but I am aware of the three-wave theory. And the three-wave theory states simply that when cryptos correct, they tend to correct in three waves. And oftentimes, if there is a three-wave correction downwards, you will see a five-wave correction upwards. So what that means is that oftentimes when cryptos really want to start correcting, they'll make one move to the downside, to have a B move to the upside or the second move, and then a third wave back to the downside. This is an ABC correction or three-wave correction theory. And so knowing that there is a possibility that we are still in an ABC correction, you cannot get too confident quite yet. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be a party pooper. I don't want to kind of rain on the parade right now. But at the end of the day, we are still in a major point of risk. And we can't get too caught up FOMOing in and going super long on leverage and thinking that everything's all peaches and cream, because quite frankly, it might not be. I hope it is. It feels like it very well might be, but you cannot be sure until it clears this golden zone. And so where I am with this crypto market right now is I'm definitely, super happy about it. I have some of my micro caps that are reaching all-time highs, and I'm taking profits off of them, and things are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying it. We have freaking TARS AI out here putting in gains. We're talking 43% gainer there. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this one. There's a crypto called Lofi or Lo-Fi, whatever. It's a Sui meme that we invested into. This bad boy is absolutely flying. Let me go, might need to go to CoinGecko. I don't know if their coin market cap's working. Let's see. CoinGecko. But like, this is another one, that's absolutely smashing it. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, look at this, dude. Like, this is a micro cap, 85 million, but this thing's putting in all-time highs. So some of our cryptos, like TARS AI, Lofi, they're hitting all-time highs, but the majority of them are still in corrective mode. And so while they're still in corrective mode, I still am just a little bit wary. And I'm aware of the fact that a pullback could still be on the way. So I want to see the golden box broken. We must break the golden box to avoid a correction and a crash. And so that's what we're going to pay attention to. So the majority of what I'm going to do today now, because again, it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter stream, and just kind of show you and double down a bit and show you specifically on each crypto what levels we need to see broken in order to verify and validate that this actually is a breakup to the upside and that we are on track to continue. Okay, so let's kind of dive into that and let's make that next move. Now, let me just get this out the way because I do want to just kind of string together all those different cryptos. But of course, I gotta do my little shameless plug. Guys, don't forget, if you do and think that the value that we are providing here, what we've talked about today a little bit and some of the different things that we have going on is valuable. You can check out the Patreon down below. Guys, it's $17 a month or $5 a month when you do sign up for the Patreon, which is linked in the description below. I think I might need to go add it in. What you're going to get access to are Insights with Tyler. This is where I post my thoughts and insights, advice and guidance, and my trades, my buys and sells, and things like that. We have exclusive live shows in here every single day throughout the week, daily technical analysis, daily fundamental analysis. I have 2 teams of professional traders that we hired who provide their insights and their trades every single day. We have premium classes on things like the Bollinger Bands, the Fibonacci's, which I use every day. Premium, we have beginners courses as well, things like leverage trading for beginners, technical analysis for beginners. Guys, these are 30-minute long videos, 20-page presentations, vocabularies, cheat sheets, and all types of things. And then, of course, tips with Tyler. These are these little 2 to 3 minute long episodes, just answering questions that you guys have. All of this coming together has led our community to generate hundreds of percentages every single day. You can see just today the gains that were made: 100%, 70, 129, 80, 60, 39, 276. Again, this is all just today. So if you want to start growing in this whole crypto thing, learning how all this works, and then using those lessons to turn them into strategies to start making gains, you can do that for just $17 or $5 a month. So go check that out down below and let's push forward. So again, you guys know, sorry for the plug, but what we're building over there it's fantastic. Over 700 members now, and I think it's valuable. So I had to share it with you. So what we're going to do, we're going to move now into Total 2 and start focusing in on more what's happening with the altcoin market. Alrighty. So what is happening with the altcoin market? So before we look at Total 2, actually, what I want to look at is Bitcoin dominance, because what Bitcoin dominance is doing right now is actually rather interesting. although Bitcoin dominance did have this little moment where it started pushing upwards, Bitcoin dominance is really struggling a lot. And every time Bitcoin tries to take a lead on the market, every time it really tries to catch some momentum against the market, it really just gets forced back down. And what we're noticing is that, sure, I mean, there could be some sort of continuative pattern here and it might try to break up. Bitcoin dominance is struggling a lot. And my belief here is that we are still in a period in which you could consider to be altcoin season. If I remember correctly, the altcoin season index itself, let's see, altcoin season index itself. See if I can find this here. Here we go. The altcoin season index itself is, I mean, absolutely sent. Let's see. Shout out to you, Rebecca. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely pulled back a little bit, but it does still feel to me like we are still in some sort of altcoin season, which just simply means that we're going to continue to see the liquidity flowing into some of these different altcoins, especially when we're seeing moments like today where they recover fast. When they recover fast like they did today, it's going to build people's long-term confidence in this market that altcoins are going to continuatively be able to do good, and that's obviously good because it just means that we can see this thing last longer and more gains. And so with Bitcoin dominance, I'm definitely noticing Bitcoin's done okay, but it's definitely still getting battered by the altcoins. And after a big crash like we saw the last few days, I think this is a sign that some sort of more macro shift is happening. I think now that Bitcoin has hit $100,000, we're getting to a spot in which we're actually starting to see that the early signs of the shift from Bitcoin into altcoins coming. You guys know, like every single bull market and basically every macro market in general, you're going to see as time goes on, as people make more money and as they get more comfortable and confident, that they're going to take their money from the big safe thing and then transfer it into more about more like individual things. For example, oftentimes what you'll notice is that in the stock market, the longer that a bull market persists in the stock market, people will start taking their money out of ETFs and start individually investing them into individual stocks like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. Now, the reason they do this is because it's confidence and it's greed to some degree. Everybody starts truly thinking that they're a genius. They start thinking that they can't lose, that they're going to make more money. And they start thinking, well, instead of getting 10% from the ETF, why would I not just go into Tesla and make 30%? And so you start to see the funnel from the safe thing to the little bit less safe things. And that's what we see in Bitcoin as well. It's not like this big complex thing. It's very simple. People start getting more confident and want to chase more gains because they think that they're going to be able to make more money. And quite frankly, we see that transfer basically from Bitcoin into altcoins, altcoins into micros, micros into pre-sales, pre-sales into catastrophe, right? And so because of that, it does feel to me as if we are in the earlier stages of that transfer. I'm not 100% sure. I can't confidently say that. But what I do know is that this has been the biggest pullback that we have seen basically since we started seeing the bull market start. Since the bull market started, this is the biggest pullback in Bitcoin dominance that we've ever seen before. And so we can't ignore this because if this is the early signs, it means that we're getting further into this bull market than people realized. Because once altcoin season truly starts, you're getting towards the end of the bull market. You can't, it could still last 5, 6, 7 months. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be the next 2 weeks, but you are getting to that point. Bitcoin starts the bull market, altcoins end the bull market. It's just what happens. And so if we are funneling into altcoins, it would be a good idea to really start preparing those exit strategies and understanding what you're going to do under certain situations. Where are you going to start taking profit at? Are you going to keep reinvesting all your profit? Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe you should start cashing out on some of these things, right? And that's kind of the general thesis that I have now, is that we're still in a good spot. Altcoins still very well may continue to run for another 4 or 5, 6 months into May, and maybe even through more of next year if Trump really starts making a difference. But at the end of the day, we're not in the beginning of the bull market anymore. We're not at that point. I would say at best we're at the beginning of 2021. Anyone who was here in 2021, for example, you remember how January and February was? I think maybe we're getting towards that point a little bit. And so sure, we still had another 6, 7 months of bull market, but we were getting towards the end of it. And so that's my thoughts. And I think everything that I'm seeing from a perspective of what the altcoins are doing in comparison to Bitcoin is kind of backing this up. Okay, so now, taking that into mind, let's go into total 2, see if anything is different here. Not really, honestly. So, of course, what we can see is that, total 2, the total market cap of all cryptos, excluding Bitcoin, is doing the same thing as total 1. It's currently coming up and it's retesting this golden zone. And until this golden zone is broken, I am not convinced that we're out of this downtrend. I'm just not convinced. And I feel like maybe today I sound like a little bit bearish. I am not bearish in the slightest. I'm just not falling for the trap, right? I'm not falling for the euphoria. If this is a trap, I want to be aware of it. If it's not a trap, well, I'll just make money on the gains, because you got to remember, we were doing so much buying down here that if this isn't a trap and it just goes up, oh, fantastic. I mean, we timed the bottom. Great. That's very hard to do. But I don't want to get trapped mentally and emotionally thinking that this pullback is over and then it not be. And so I'm just watching the golden zone, because the golden zone always tells me everything I need to know. If we get rejected, pullback not over. If we clear it, pull back over. Very, very simple enough, right? And so Total 2 is in a very similar situation in which it's trying to break that golden box, currently around $1.56 trillion. Now, going into Bitcoin specifically, okay, now that we've kind of differentiated the main market and what Bitcoin's doing, Bitcoin's actually doing a really good job. Okay, Bitcoin's actually doing a very good job. If we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin clearly got smoked. I mean, what was this? From top to bottom, we saw Bitcoin fall 11.5% over the span of just a day or two. Not good. Bitcoin shouldn't do, we don't want to see that from Bitcoin. That's not good. But at the end of the day, it's not surprising. I told you all as Bitcoin's price hit $100,000 that I was going to lay out three dollar cost average zones. These were going to be the three zones that I started doing some buying at if Bitcoin's price at any given point fell to them. I laid out this liquidity zone based on all this previous price movement we had here. We had the Fibonacci extension from the macro bull market that was sat right here. And then we had DCA zone 3 that was sat right here, which is back at the all-time high. And I told you all that I think these are going to be the three levels that Bitcoin tries to use the most to continue upwards to push towards $120,000, $130,000, $140,000. And what we can see is that Bitcoin, as its price did start to roll over, we did see it come back down to DCA zone 1, and it has held it up very well and is holding up quite well. Now, matter of fact, not only did it hold up very well, as its price has started to pull back a little bit more, what we can see is that it's actually used that pullback right here as a foundation, because we then established this golden box that was used to reject the price back upwards. So Bitcoin's actually in a very, very healthy spot, a very good spot, and it's recovered very well from this wick, almost to the point where I would say this wick is almost a little bit unimportant. Like, I don't even think this is really all that big a deal anymore, because the bullish price movement was placed in. We built the foundation. We got the little double bottom here on the wicks. We did all the things necessary to make sure that the price stabilizes, and it's great. Now, Bitcoin, very simple. I told you guys, every friggin' single one of these cryptos, I'm going to basically say the same thing. I want to see it break the golden zone. Can it break the golden zone? And the golden box ends at $101,400. So can they start getting the daily closes above that? Because we tried there and we failed. We tried there and we failed. Can we try it here? Once we do this, the door to the upside is open. I think Bitcoin might try to make a move from 107 to $112,000. But at the end of the day, until we break that golden box, it ain't freaking happening, baby. Now, if we go a little bit forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start quick firing these cryptos, because you'll start to get bored about the fact that they're all doing the same thing. Watch. So XRP, okay? XRP's price right now. XRP is a very good example of one that's not done enough to change my mind yet in the short term. Okay. Long term, where we're at with XRP is the fact that it is now confirmed that it's creating a descending channel. What was interesting is I was purely speculating that this is what was going to happen. If we go back to the Insights with Tyler, this is the Discord server here if you guys want to check it out. And yesterday I was at breakfast and I said, I'm taking a bit of a gamble here. I think this is the structure that XRP is forming, so going to do a rather decent sized dollar cost average here. And I bought a little bit of XRP as its price was starting to come towards the bottom of this channel, just thinking, I think there's a chance that it tries to create this descending parallel channel. So I started doing some purchasing right in here, and now XRP's price is pushed up. And quite simply, what I'm looking for from XRP is, does it break the descending channel or not? If it gets rejected, we very well might come back down to $2.17 to $2.20. Try to find some support and go for the breakout again. But if XRP's price does break the descending channel, now the door towards $3.20 is open, and there's a couple things that need to happen, a couple steps. But of course, we'll cover those steps when the time comes. That's unimportant. What's important right now is whether or not XRP can break this key level of resistance that is pushed up into right now, and I'm not doing anything until we see whether or not it can break that resistance or not. XLM. Very similar situation, but a little bit different. I actually think that XLM is one of the better buying opportunities in the market right now, just in my personal opinion. I believe XLM is creating a descending channel. I feel like it's still somewhat around the buy zone of that descending channel, and it has yet to really start making this move upward. So for me, I think XLM actually is a pretty decent buy right now. It's back testing the golden zone. It's trying to build some support in here. And although it might continue a little bit lower, I think purchases here will actually end up in profit at some given point. And so because of that, I actually like what I'm seeing from XLM. It's one of the very few that's not sitting here in like a major resistance zone. So I do like it. One of the very few I'd buy today. Looking at Shiba Inu. Very simple, guys. Look, I'm not going to harp on it too much, but I just want you to see Shiba Inu currently coming up to the golden zone as we speak. You see that? It's pushing up to that gold zone. So right now, not doing much, letting it go back. Just going to see if SHIB can break that golden zone. Pepe, similar situation. Swing high, swing low. Looky here. Pepe pushing up towards that golden zone. Till we break that golden zone, I'm not too confident. I'm not going to go out and say that this pullback and correction is over with. Going a little bit forward. You're going to start, I'm just warning you, this is going to start getting a little bit annoying, but I just got to show you, okay? Boom. If we look at ADA Cardano ADA. Boom, swing high, swing low. ADA's not there yet, but it is getting close. ADA is about Let's see. 8 is about 5% away, but it's getting very close to that golden zone. I think we're seeing the same thing from SWE. SWE just broke the golden zone. So SWE is one of the few that have broken the golden zone, and that's actually a very interesting move here. I wasn't expecting that today, but SWE broke the golden zone today. I would expect that it would maybe cool down a little bit sometime soon here, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. As long as SWE can get a daily close now above $4.21. So as long as its price can maintain where it is above 421 for at least another 3 or 4 hours, I believe SWE just unlocked the door. I think we're going to see SWE's price over the midterm very likely push up towards some of these fib extension levels, which looks like SWE hitting anywhere from $4.88 to $5.40, which could still be another, an 11%, 12% move here. On the more macro, about a 25% move towards the upside. So that's actually extremely good. I'm very happy about that. That was a great move from SWE there, because obviously the main pursuit that we have is getting up through these fib extension levels. So yeah, seeing SWE price push up towards, maybe even trying to chase $5 pretty soon seems rather reasonable to me. That's a very good thing. One thing I will note, SWE on the 1 hour is now overextended to the top side. SWE on the 4 hour is almost overextended, and SWE on the daily has now reversed completely. So I would be a little bit careful. I probably wouldn't be doing any major buying of SWE myself, because we did do some purchases down here. We were buying in the support zone, as you saw in the Discord server. Let me go back out here. Yeah, on December 9th, we purchased a little bit of SWE down here. It was the second to last purchase that I made that day. And so we were doing some buying on SWE in this little area. So because of that, I'm not going to be doing any buying myself. And I think buying right here is risky, but I am very bullish. And I do think that even if its price wants to backtest the golden zone, which is somewhat, rather likely, I do think holding some support and continuing up towards $4.88 to $5 is very possible / likely. So I am actually very bullish about that. I think that's a great move from SWE. Beautiful move. Yeah, great things. Obviously, the next thing that we just need to do now is see if it does get rejected off this macro high liquidity, maybe force back down into support, and then see if we can break it here. So great things from SWE there. Beautiful move. Probably the move of the day. I would say SWE probably has the best move of the day from what I can see so far. So very, very, very good stuff there. Solana. Solana's not in a terrible spot, but Solana's in a very similar spot to the rest. In the macro sense, I think Solana is in a good spot right now. We're in the DCA zones. We're in a descending channel. I'm very, very, very sure that we are going to see Solana's price break out of this descending channel at some given point. So where we are right now is just a waiting game. Do we see the DCA zones hold up? Do we see the descending channel break to the upside? Because if both of those things happen at once, I think Solana pushing 350 is very likely. And so because of that, the whole game for me is just, when do we break out of the descending channel? While we're in the descending channel, my strategy is always the same. I will not be buying when it's above the 50% threshold. I will be buying if it's in the 25 to 50% threshold right here. I'll be doing a lot more buying when it's below the 25% threshold. Very simple. So not in a buying spot for me right now. But of course, if it does roll back or pull back a bit, I will be doing even more buying, expecting that breakout will be on the way at some point. So definitely very good signs here from Solana. Really liking what I'm seeing. And it's also another one that is running into his little short-term golden zone right there, as you can tell. Hbar, similar spot with Solana. So right now, I would say Hbar is very similar to XLM, back testing the macro golden zone in the bottom half of this descending channel. I would say Hbar is in a decent spot to be buying right now, in my opinion. I think this thing pushing back up towards 35 cents or something like that, or maybe even trying to break out of this does make some sense. So Hbar is in a good spot. I do want to see a little bit more price movement before I can be sure that this is even the structure that Hbar is creating, but it does seem that way to me. And so because of that, I do personally think Hbar isn't a decent buying opportunity right now. So it would be, again, one of the few that I would be looking to purchase while it is below the 50% threshold. My rules always remain the same. I never really or generally buy when we're above the 50% threshold. I buy a little bit in the gray box. I buy a lot more in the green box. So things looking really good. Things looking very good there. Okay. ICP. ICP is doing okay for sure. It's just lagging a little bit in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of what I'm seeing just because, like in terms of if I want to purchase right now, obviously in the grand scheme of things, ICP is actually doing very good. It is flipping a major point of resistance and attempting to flip this into a support zone. A little bit worried about the general structure that is forming here because it just looks odd. And anytime you see odd structure, that's not a good thing. But overall, to me, it's the same as the rest. If it breaks the golden zone, we'll be in a good spot. If it gets rejected, it's going to get ugly. So with ICP, I'm just sitting back waiting and watching at this point to see if we're going to get this rejection here or not. Looking like bonk. Looking at bonk. Okay, let's see. Boom. We get a little water. Stay hydrated, people. So What we got from Bonk, its price broke that previous high. Okay, so we broke that high right around the 4.9 level, the 4.8 level or so. Bonk has now, its price has now come back down. It has put in what I believe to be an ABC correction to the downside. And I do think Bonk is still in a decent buying opportunity. I was doing some more buying than I am right now as Bonk was approaching this red box and as it entered the red box. But I think we're in a spot right now where Bonk will soon start trying to make some moves to the upside. And so because of that, I do like Bonk. Bonk is a bullish play for me right now. I do think buying Bonk right now makes a little bit of sense. So it is one of those ones I'm on the lookout for. I would be pretty surprised, honestly, if Bonk continues this move downwards. It doesn't usually 5-wave. It wouldn't usually do something like this. Not impossible, because it might come to the bottom side of the red box, and then that would be where it tries to find support. But one way or another, I do believe Bonk is pretty substantially to a point where it's almost finished with this pullback here, this macro pullback, and I think it'll try to push to, upwards at some point rather sooner than later. So for me, I think Bonk is a decent buy right now, while its price is still, in this downtrend that we're in. Caspa. Caspa's a similar one to all the rest. It's just the golden box, right? We're working our way up to the golden box right now. I need to see whether or not it's going to break it, because quite frankly, if it doesn't break it and it rolls, now Caspa's losing a macro point of support. That puts this bad boy right in line to possibly fall all the way back towards 12.8 to 13 cents. So for Caspa, it's definitely one of those ones. I'm not doing anything until I can see whether or not it breaks the gold box. Doge, similar spot. Not a bad spot to be in for Doge. I do like the fact that Doge's price is backtesting and it's kind of like holding support on top of the golden zone. So I think if we're looking at a long-term purchase, I do think that Doge is a buy right now for a long-term purchase, just because it is maintaining well. There is a chance it rolls back towards 30 cents and then tries to build support here. But it does feel as if Doge is going to try to build some foundation around this gold box and then use the gold box to try to push upwards to what could be, $1.50, possibly as high as $3.50 under the most bullish euphoria moment. And so because of that, I think from a macro perspective, Doge is still a buy, especially considering the fact that it has responded quite well to that pullback. It didn't dump that much. It's held up well. It's built that foundation. It's trying to flip this resistance zone into support. So I like that, and I'm willing to do a little bit of purchasing on Doge there also. A few more here before we do go ahead and wrap up this section of the video. Ethereum is in a very similar spot, very easy to understand. Ethereum is trying to determine whether or not this pullback is over. And as it's doing that, it's coming up to the golden box. So we just need to sit back, wait, and watch to see if it clears the golden box or not. Looking at something like AVAX, almost the exact same price structure as Ethereum. We can see here, it's trying to decide if it's going to come back and clear that golden box. So I'm waiting for it to clear the golden box. And I guess we can look at Render. Render is doing a good job. Let me kind of see what this is looking like. It looks like it's made a little bit more progress than the rest. Swing high to swing low. Oh, no, not so much. Not really. Honestly, Render is also another one just trying to determine if it's going to break the golden box. So I pretty much don't need to go anymore on these. I think you guys kind of understand what I'm getting at. The vast majority of cryptos right now. Yo, I'm so parched. Jeez. The vast majority of cryptos right now are trying to break this golden box. And it's just what it comes down to. And that's why I tell you guys, you guys always joke with me, and somebody said I should make the golden box t-shirts, but I was like, that sounds a little weird to wear on your shirt in public. But one thing that I said was like, listen, like the golden zone, the golden Fibonacci ratio is by far the most important zone. And it's days like today that show that, right? Like the fact that almost every single crypto is going right up directly to the same exact golden Fibonacci ratio to determine whether or not this bull market is going to continue for the next few weeks or not is crazy. And it just goes to show the importance, the significance of a zone of that nature. And that's why you need to be watching it so closely. We talk about it all the time over in the Patreon, just because the implications of what happens at it are so important. Now, one thing that I did want to mention to you guys while we are getting somewhat close to wrapping up the video here, if you are interested in it, I will do a little shameless plug for you. You can check out the link to BTCC down below. If you do want to start trading today, you can trade Bitcoin, Solana, SWI, and many more on up to 500x leverage. If you do sign up specifically with my link down below, they are going to give you a 10% bonus on all first-time deposits. So what this, between $500 and $100,000. So this means if you deposit, say, $4,000, they're going to give you $400 back on the spot to start trading with. And whatever profit you make from that, the bonus that you get to keep in no strings attached. So you can reinvest it, withdraw it, do whatever you want with it. It's literally an opportunity to maximize and make free gains during the bull market. So go check that out down below. Again, if that is something that you're interested in, check their terms and conditions. Be very careful. Leverage trading is something you should only be doing if you've been in this space for a long time and you know what you're doing. If you're a beginner, steer clear of this. Do not go sign up. Do not go deal with this. But if you are advanced, go check it out down below. Let me know what you think. Now, one that I am seeing in the chat a ton is called Turbo, and I want to go look at what's happening there because you guys seem pretty hyped up about it. Let's see. Oh, Jasmy, my bad, y'all. My bad. Jasmy. Okay, so Jasmy is in a very tricky spot, a very similar spot though, right? So obviously what we saw is we had this huge move from Jasmy on the upside, swung all the way down to the downside. What it actually did is it came back and it back tested this macro golden zone. So if we do go ahead and draw in our Fibonacci's from our swing low down here all the way, you know what? I want to make it even shorter. What we're going to do is we're going to go to just this one. What you can see here is that Jasmy's price, it swung all the way back to the downside, retested this bottom side macro Fibonacci zone, bounced off of it, and is now trying to push back towards the upside. Now, as it's trying to push back towards the upside off its bottom side golden box, it's now pushed back into the top side golden box. You can identify that obviously by just going swing high down to swing low, and that gives you your golden Fibonacci ratio right here. And what you can see is that Jasmy's price ran all the way back up to the golden box right here and immediately got rejected off of it on the couple hourlies. And so because of that, the easiest thing to say right now is that Jasmy is in a range. It's consolidating, and until its price breaks this 5.193 cent level, you really can't be getting too excited. But once Jasmy's price does break 5.1 cents, I think the door is going to be wide open for this thing to push up towards 8.6 cents and start trying to get a full fib extension all the way up here, maybe towards 7 cents to 8.6, which, I mean, shoot, from where we are right now, that's still huge. I mean, that's, 55 to 90% in gain. So Jasmy is just another one of those cryptos that's at its golden box, trying to decide whether or not this downtrend is over or not. And so obviously I'll keep you updated as that does play out. All righty. So that, and I think you can kind of see where I'm getting with it now, where, I'm going with today's video is that, again, you can't get too drawn into it, guys, because look, let me show you a visual representation of what happens. You guys know I'm under the belief this market is manipulated. I think lizard people like Jeff Bezos are making things happen. And so because of that, all jokes aside, I truly do believe that there are manipulative moments and that you need to be ready for them. And oftentimes what happens is that this market is going upwards and the bulls are getting too confident. And then say, for example, $1 billion of liquidations will build right here, right? Let's call this the liquidation zone. Boom. What will end up happening is the lizard people recognize, like, oh, shoot, there's so many liquidations up here. We can't let them win anymore. We want to take their crypto. So they start selling and forcing the price back down. As they do that, the market starts to capitulate. Retail investors get all nervous. They start selling, causing the market to fall even further, liquidating all of these bulls up here. Or, well, obviously the liquidations would be for the bulls. So the liquidations would be sitting right here, but you get the point. Okay. So as they start going down, all these bulls are just getting liquidated and liquidated and liquidated at each one of these levels, causing that mass sell-off. Well, what ends up happening is that as the bulls are getting liquidated, the bears are getting more and more and more confident. They're saying, well, the market's going down, the bull market's over, blah, blah, blah. So next thing you know, the bears get all excited and they start shorting this thing. And you see all those liquidations just start building where the bears would get liquidated right here. So now we have bearish liquidations right above us. And what happens is the whales notice, well, they're like, okay, that's enough of that. We've liquidated enough of these bulls. Let's turn this market around. And next thing you know, the market starts bouncing upwards, liquidating all these bears. Well, then the bulls start over celebrating. And this is the moment we're in right now. The bulls start celebrating. Oh, it's over. We're back in. We're good. We're here. We're doing this. This is the moment where the bull market's back, blah, blah, blah. And what do you know? The freaking golden zone, we run back into the golden zone right here. We get rejected again, and all those bulls who are just betting and betting and betting that the market would go up, now they get liquidated again. And now we're in a moment where we're consolidating, and then the whales decide, all right, that's enough, and then we go upwards. You have to be careful of things like this because it happens all the time, and anybody who's been in this market long enough knows you can't get too caught up until you have confirmations. Because in a pump like this, without a confirmation, we're at risk of a dump at any given moment. And so I just wanted to tell you guys today, like, I'm not trying to be the party pooper or the bearer of bad news, but we're not locked in yet. We're not out of the woods yet. We're still in danger. We're still at risk of this market pulling back, and we need to break these golden zones before we can be too confident that we are out of the woods, if that makes sense. So hopefully this does make sense. You can't be bullish all the time. You can't be ultra hyper bullish and just screaming all these to the moon things all the time. You got to be realistic because they help you prepare for moves. You won't panic as much. You won't make panic buys or sells. And then you can stick around long enough to really make gains in crypto. And that's the goal here. That's what I'm trying to do. So I hope all that does make sense for you all today. All righty. And again, not to, keep plugging or anything, but If you guys do feel like all this stuff is valuable, if you want more access to all these good things, again, you can join that Discord server down below. It's connected to the Patreon. The Patreon is in the link in the description below. Even while we've been on stream, 298% gain just got printed. 28% gain just got printed. 117% gain just got printed. Shout out to the homie Chad. I mean, everybody in this server is learning, using the learning to develop strategies and start putting together gains. So if you want to be a part of this, check out that Discord down below, guys. Now, what I want to do, I want to answer a couple questions. We're going to do a little bit of a Q&A for the next 5 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I have a Jasmy video, I believe. I think it's a Jasmy video. A Jasmy video releasing next, and then I have a Hbar video releasing after that, if I remember correctly. So still 2 more videos coming today, even after this stream, so don't worry. I'm not done with you yet today. And yeah, maybe another one, but we'll see. All righty. What's up, everybody? How we going? Let's see what questions we have. What questions do we have? There's a lot of news that XRP is forming a head and shoulders and will drop at 245. Is it legit? And there's news. I don't know what is going on here. Can you please look into it? Well, I know that the RULSD thing did get approved, if I remember correctly, and that's a big part of the reason why it's pumping. I do want to mention this real quick. I saw you. I didn't miss it. XPL Beats just come in with the 147% gain. Shout out to that guy. Sui long trade 10x. Hey, honestly, a 10x leverage trade, 140% gain. That's real good stuff right there. Shout out to you, XPL Beats, over in the Discord server. Great job, man. But let's go look at XRP real quick. I didn't see a head and shoulders, but you might be correct. No. Unless I'm blind, I don't see that. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're looking at the much smaller time frames. We'll see. No, I don't see that. Oh, I could see. Okay, yeah, I see it. I see it now. This is what they were talking about. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This got invalidated, I believe. This got invalidated. Once you spend enough time not breaking it, that got invalidated. I wouldn't be worried about that personally. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Wait 1 second. I literally forgot to go through this. Davey D, shout out to you. I appreciate the $5 donation, my friend. You say hi, Tyler. Can you give technical thoughts on Mara, Bitcoin miner? I'm going to be honest with you, champ. I don't know anything about Mara whatsoever. I haven't been looking into it. I've been living a little bit under a rock. So I do appreciate the donation, but I'm going to be honest. I have absolutely no experience with Mara at all. And I will let you guys know as well. I do want to remind you that if you do donate and you do want us to check something out, it doesn't guarantee that we will, especially if I don't know anything about it. I prefer to do a little bit of research before I talk about things because it can influence opinions, even though I don't want it to. So there's that. But shout out to you, David. You much appreciated, my friend. And then shout out to Amay being Amay. Shout out to you. My friend says thoughts on Polygon. I like Polygon a lot. I think that the tech makes a lot of sense. It works very well. They do a great job. It's just boring, quite frankly. Just boring. It'll have its moment, I do believe. But as of now, it's just a little bit boring. No, I've not sold any of my XYO, but I may start taking a little bit of profits pretty soon here. Let's see. What do you think about Pinlink? Pinlink's so good, dude. Pinlink is so good. I think Pinlink, like if we're going to see a bunch of these AI cryptos hit like 500 million to $1 billion, I think Pinlink's going to be one of them probably. I've got me a nice little bag now. Shout out to Alex. What's good, dude? Been a minute since I seen you on my timeline. Hope you're well. Still doing MMA. Yeah, appreciate it. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. No, your boy is definitely not doing MMA anymore. Still training. Doing little kickboxing fights and stuff here and there. But the MMA life is about over for me, champ. What's your thoughts on TAI? Shout out to Tars AI. Tars AI is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Oh, there was another one I did want to tell you guys about that was doing well. You remember I was telling you Tars AI and some of the other ones. There's one that I invested into like years ago, early on as an as an angel investor to some degree, and it was called Supra. And Supra launched. This bad boy launched back like the 27th or the 26th, and it's absolutely fine. $300 million market cap. Absolutely pushing. I have started taking a little bit of profits off of this bad boy because it is doing well. I was actually able to pick up a little bag of this right around 1 cent. And it couldn't have been. It had to be a little bit higher, right around 2 cents. And it is pushing a decent amount right now. So definitely liking this one. I will be doing a little bit more coverage on them going forward as they do make more progress. But I wanted to show you guys this one because this could be one to keep on your radar for sure. I got in at $1.05 and I don't know what to do. What's Matic at now? What is Matic at? I don't even remember. It has to be much, much, much slower than that. Let's see. One sec. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Matic is at 63 cents. You got in at $1.05. Yeah, Matic's been struggling. It's been struggling a lot, honestly. Just not doing very well, to be honest. I think it can push up to $1.50 again. So it's one of those things I'd probably just wait out, just let it have its moment. I think it'll have its moment at some point, but definitely a tough one for sure. Oh, well, shout out to you. Kevin McGee says, guys, join Tyler's Discord. He's the bomb. I've learned so much. I did not tell him to say that. That is not a paid promoter, but I would pay you. I'm just joking. But I appreciate you guys. Everybody who's in the server, the Discord server, if you do want to let people know if you like it or don't like it, feel free to join in. Again, $17 a month. You get a whole bunch of stuff, so feel free to check it out down below. I am toying with an idea of a new tier that's going to be coming out. It's going to be the executive tier. That's going to be a lot more personal, so stay tuned for news for that. And yeah, don't forget, if you do want to trade up to 500x leverage, you can use that BTCC link down below. Get a 10% bonus on your deposits between $500 and $100,000. But look, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. About 45 minutes in. Vocal cords are starting to hurt, guys. 7 videos done today. Live stream done today. But I just wanted to jump on, let you guys know my thoughts, and just really make you realize, like, hey, we're not out of the woods yet. I hope we do end up out of the woods. I hope it does continue upwards, but please don't get too bought into the hype yet, because without that confirmation of that gold box breaking, we're still taking a big risk by going long on leverage and stuff right now. So, of course, just do stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out. I'm going to keep posting 6, 7, 8, 9 videos a day for you here on the channel. So if you have been enjoying, guys, please don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out the Patreon, check out BTCC. I can't wait.